2026 is already shaping up to be the year our sleep schedules get absolutely demolished. And that's just from the sheer amount of games. Forget what type of games we're about to talk about. Not only will we be up late playing the games, but nightmares from playing the games will jolt us awake. No doubt, we're talking about the scary stuff. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, the top 20 new horror games of 2026. Starting off with number 20, it's Silent Hill Townfall. Konami has been kind of showing that it seems like they don't want everyone to hate them anymore. They've been doing a great job reviving classic franchises. Silent Hill has certainly been the crown jewel of that with the Silent Hill 2 remake and Silent Hill F. Townfall is putting you in St. Emilia, Scotland, a quaint place that's clearly going to have a lot of fog, and you're Simon Ordell, a man trying to set things right after waking up without any memory of how he got there. There's deserted streets, haunting backstories, and of course, monsters. And fog. I mentioned fog already, but I'm mentioning it because it's Silent Hill. I can mention it as many times as I want. What makes this one stand out is that it is a first-person perspective game. I don't know what kind of game it exactly will be, a shooter, a brawler, or if you'll ever fight anything at all. But you will be messing with a CRTV, which is this handheld device that picks up supernatural signals, so it may be a ghost hunting game? I don't know. It's not like Konami has been screwing things up lately, which is the weirdest thing in the world to say, but Silent Hill Townfall is coming to PlayStation 5 and PC sometime this year. And before we exit the fog, I'm gonna ask if you can take a moment and enable notifications. We've heard from some people that they aren't necessarily getting every single one of our videos, and enabling notifications at least helps with that. It's also doing us a big favor, and we hope it helps you see some stuff you want to see. Thanks a lot for enabling notifications. Let's get back to the video. At number 19 is Subnautica 2. I know that may not immediately sound like a horror game, but anybody who's played Subnautica for a longer period of time knows what it's like to have a Leviathan-sized sea monster move past you in a manner that reminds you how small you really are. Obviously, Subnautica 2 has been caught up in a bit of development controversy, let's say. Not necessarily hell, but controversy certainly. I don't really know how that's all gonna resolve, but they are saying this game is going to enter early access sometime in 2026, and if that holds, to be frank, it's a game I want to play a lot. At number 18 is The Lost Wild, not to be confused with Jurassic Park The Lost World, but also to be confused with Jurassic Park The Lost World. If you ever thought that's something I can survive, that Jurassic Park doesn't look like that big of a deal, no sir. Well, that's what this game is for. This is a first-person survival horror game that drops you into an abandoned research facility overrun by large, intelligent, and probably most importantly, hungry dinosaurs. This is not a run and gun dino shooter. You are gonna be vulnerable and there's gonna be tension. Visually, it looks like they're aiming for grounded realism. You have dense foliage, the whole abandoned lab thing, flickering emergency lights, heavy breathing, distant roars, probably footsteps getting closer as you're looking at a cup of water vibrate with every step, that kind of thing. The Lost Wild has a 2026 release window. It's coming to PC and consoles, but we do not have a date yet. It does look promising though. At number 17, it is Alien Isolation 2. This one was announced back in October of 2024, making this a pretty decent release window. When Creative Assembly made the first game, it was kind of a weird fit. Obviously, the Total War people making an Alien game, it's weird. But perhaps the weirdest thing about that is that, well, it's probably the best Alien game ever made. We have not gotten a lot of information about this game, and I wouldn't exactly call it locked in for 2026, but if we don't at least hear more about the game this year, I would be surprised, and I wouldn't exactly be surprised if they released it this year. They were coy about it when they announced it back in 2024, and I think there's a very real chance we could see it this year, and if that's just me being hopeful, I don't care. I really want to play Alien Isolation 2. The first is an absolute freaking classic. And number 16 is The Joy of Creation, originally a Five Nights at Freddy's fan game. The Joy of Creation was kind of infamous for doing something the main series never really did. I mean, it did it, but not a lot. But letting the animatronics roam free in fully explorable environments. You don't have the security office, the cameras, it's just you and some things sprinting down a hallway, and well, it's being reimagined as a fully backed official game. The new version expands on the story, overhauls the visuals in Unreal Engine 5. Basically, people like this game so much it became an official game. It's back with a budget. There's no hard release date, but it's coming out sometime this year. And number 15 is Carnival Hunt. Apparently, the only thing scarier than a haunted carnival, at least for some, is yet another swing at the asymmetrical horror game. Granted, this one's a little more involved. There's crafting, resource management, coordination, and you can actually fight back against the bunny, which is the asymmetrical horror, I guess is what I'm gonna call it. The monster. I like asymmetrical horror. The asymmetrical horror better. I don't know, this is a genre that I always just want to do good because on paper it's such a good idea. And a lot of the time it's good for a while, but not for a long while. And nobody's really built one of these that lasts. I mean, we all remember Dead by Daylight, but yeah, the key there is that we remember it. We're not playing it. So, I don't know. This one looks cool. I like the aesthetic. I like the fact that they've put some more involved stuff in there, crafting, more survival-oriented stuff. That might be the kind of secret sauce that this genre has been missing. We'll see. Obviously, I can't tell you for sure one way or the other. They have had little beta testing windows, but I haven't been able to play it. Carnival Hunt is coming to PC sometime this year. At number 14, we've got The Occultist, a first-person psychological horror title. Pretty ghosty looking one at that. This game has you, a paranormal investigator by the name of Alan Rebels, trying to figure out what the hell happened to his dad who disappeared. You traveled to a foggy island with a whole bunch of cliffs and whatnot to see if you can figure that chestnut out. Obviously, it is a mystery game on top of being survival and horror, but there's a lot of exploration, puzzle solving, and stealth. That seems to be what it's leaning the most on from what we can gather. Pretty good atmosphere. I did mention the cliffs. Lots of cliffs, lots of fog. Pretty culty looking place, this island. I don't know, I like it. Looks good. This one's landing on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series sometime this year. At number 13 is Bendy the Cage. The Cage being the subtitle for the game that features Bendy, just so you don't think this is like a mascot platformer in which you play as a bendable cage. Although, maybe that's just me being very literal. Certainly not on purpose, though. Not making a joke or anything like that. Anyway, if you know what Bendy is this sort of creepy cartoon thing. There's a game called Bendy and the Ink Machine, if you're familiar with it. This is set in the same world. You are a new character trapped inside the horrifying machine network of a studio that you have to, try to survive and escape and all that. There's grotesque ink creatures, an overwhelming sense of claustrophobia through all these tiny little, I guess not tiny, but certainly not open-looking corridors. And also it's very 1930s Steamboat Willie looking. Don't let that fool you. It is actually kind of scary. This game is landing sometime this year on PC, and it'll probably follow on console platforms shortly after. And number 12 is A Sinking City 2. This one doesn't have a subtitle, but man, still sinking would have been great. So interestingly enough, this game is departing a little bit from the mystery elements of it. Less investigation is going to be, I have to imagine there's some degree of investigation, but they're apparently leaning more towards a survival horror experience. Limited ammo, grotesque Lovecraftian abominations, environments that they are New England, but much less fun looking one. Not that New England is the funnest looking place in the world anyways. I don't know, I liked the original game. My mild apprehension here is that they are actually leaning away from something that I actually liked about the first game, which was the investigation stuff, but also I can kind of understand why. It's still Frogwares. It's not like they had to pry this one out of their hands a la other games they've been involved with. So I'm willing to give it a shot. It could end up being pretty awesome. And the first one, like I said, bit of an underrated game. This one's landing on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series this year. And number 11 is Pathologic 3. This one actually came out last month, and it's sitting at very positive. It's definitely a way better looking game than the original version. I don't know if you remember the original Pathologic. This series is absolutely developed over the 3 titles. And this is a 12-day plague outbreak. You're a doctor. That's Pathologic. It's still the same idea, but like a lot of it just feels a lot tighter and better, and I mean, as better as it can be. It's a game that makes you feel bad all the time. It came out back on January 9th. I'm gonna actually just recommend this one if it sounds even vaguely interesting to you. It's not a game that's gonna like at least give you a kiss before it, get you. But this is probably the best version of the Pathologic formula so far. Feels the best to play. Although relatively speaking, it will make you feel bad again, but in a good way. And number 10, we've got Darkwood 2. The original Darkwood was kind of a cult legend for proving you don't need fancy camera angles to scare the bejesus out of people. I was gonna curse. They seem to be bleeping the curses now, interestingly enough. It might just be that I've been cursing more. I don't know. We've been having fun over on the Falcon Show, which you can listen to as a member of the 1% Club, which you can join down below. Anyway, that's I like cursing. That's all I'm getting at here today. Darkwood 2, though. So the game's still a top-down horror, which is good because the identity of this series is very, very rooted in the fact that it is not an over-the-shoulder AAA game. It takes what shouldn't really be a scary camera angle and makes it very much that. But what we're really looking at here is a much bigger scale, apparently. And they're saying it won't just be more forest. Granted, this is just stuff they've hinted at. We haven't really gotten a massive info dump on this one yet, at least not that I'm aware of. I'm looking forward to it though. Darkwood 2 is coming to PC sometime this year. Apparently consoles will follow later. And number 9 is Animal Use Protocol, a narrative-driven horror where you play as a hyper-intelligent chimpanzee and you are trying to get out of a research facility of some kind. It looks pretty bad, let's say. There's a chimera monster, for instance, that's been spawned from all of the twisted experiments at this facility. Doesn't sound great, but don't worry, you've got a gravity manipulation tool, gravity gun type thing, Half-Life-y stuff going on. If Gordon Freeman was a monkey, right? I mean, I guess a chimpanzee isn't a monkey, but let's not get into that. This looks like a cool game. It's definitely a different take on a first-person survival horror thing. First off, in that you're a monkey, and second off, in that it's absolutely cribbing Half-Life's gravity gun. I'm completely there for all of that stuff. It is coming sometime this year, and I'm excited to play it. And number 8 is Holstin. Hey, you like 1990s Eastern European post-Soviet republic, but more Resident Evil-ish idea type things? Because that's what this is. That's what this looks like anyway. You're a guy, you're searching for a missing friend, and the town is infected with a zombie thing. So this is a really interesting looking game. It's over the shoulder during combat and isometric survival horror elsewhere. I rather like that idea. Now what's interesting about this too is that yes, there are definitely moody, dimly lit areas and some dark, grungy looking stuff, but you're gonna see like a blue sky from time to time, at least from time to time. It's an interesting looking game, and I will definitely give it a spin when it comes out sometime later in the year. And number 7 is The Bornless, a multiplayer occult FPS that blends psychological horror with much more fast-paced gunplay. Like, in some respects, this almost looks at least a little influenced by boomer shooters. I don't think that it looks like a boomer shooter. But what's interesting is it doesn't really seem to be necessarily narrative. Like, you're fighting other players, but you're also fighting supernatural forces. Definitely very ritualistic in its imagery. You've got candles and sigils and smoke and incense and shadowy entities, and I mean, it has a pretty high production value. Everything looks pretty sweet, and it should be interesting to see how this fares as a PvPvE game. The Bornless is landing on PC sometime this year. And number 6 is Pony Island 2 Panda Circus. Same developer as Inscription. Pony Island 2 Panda Circus is continuing the meta-horror madness of the original game. If you played Pony Island, you already know this is not about ponies. It's about a malicious arcade cabinet where Satan messes with your save files. This does, to be fair, shift away from the whole possessed arcade machine thing. Instead, we're looking at the Panda Circus, a corrupted carnival system. I don't know exactly what that means, but I do know that these are existential, meta-driven games. They do not just scare you from the visuals, they also gaslight you. You'd expect save files not to be consistent, menus to change, mechanics to change, just that kind of stuff. Pony Island 2 Panda Circus is slated for 2026 release on PC. Consoles later, probably. And number 5 is Ill, this hyper-detailed, almost too realistic-looking or uncomfortably organic gore thing. We're talking about a game that makes you feel its title. It's one of those games that, I mean, it almost feels like it's impossible, it's real time, but it is. It's physics-based dismemberment, and I mean, I both love that and also am a little revolted by it. I'm not exactly sure how much we can show of Ill. It's that kind of game, and all of this grotesque tearing and environmental interaction is intended to actually figure into the gameplay. Like, it's supposed to be a very tactile game, that all of this stuff, it's physics-based, and I don't know, it could be really good. It's coming to PC and consoles this year. And number 4 is Quite a Ride. This one is a first-person psychological horror game built around driving down a remote stretch of road, and something is very wrong. Everything escalates into surreal horror, the environment shifts, repeats, distorts. The game is pretty heavily leaning on atmosphere. You got long stretches of empty highway building tension before anomalies start creeping in. Yep, it's one of those kinds of games. Except for maybe a little bit more interactive than your typical anomaly game. You'll see objects in your rearview mirror that weren't there before. You'll hear radio broadcasts that feel a little bit too much about you, roads that loop, etc. The kind of slow burn dread where your brain plays tricks on you. I think that mixing sort of a light exploration with interactive story elements in the container of an anomaly game, but a much more movement-oriented one with you got some momentum. You're also gonna have to exit the vehicle from time to time. I think this is a good idea. I like anomaly-based games, but there's always not a whole lot to talk about with them. The vast majority of them are like an hour or two of gameplay. This looks like it is going to go beyond that, and I think that it's cool because I like the genre. I just want to see the genre produce a more quote-unquote real game. This might be that game. Quite a Ride is releasing sometime this year on PC. And number 3 is Subliminal. This one is kind of a weird environmental architectural designed scary game. So it's built around liminal spaces and the puzzles are perspective based. I don't want to say this is the same kind of genre as the last one I was talking about, the sort of anomaly type game. This is much more lining things up, and I assume probably also it being difficult to line it up because things change. I like the idea about this one. I do like backrooms type games. This one looks kind of like a backrooms type game, except for a little bit more focused on a specific mechanic, and I like that a lot. Subliminal is going to land sometime this year on PC. And number 2 is Directive 8020, the next entry in the Dark Pictures anthology from Supermassive. This time, you're not doing haunted houses and cursed towns. You're in deep space. You're on a colony ship called the Cassiopeia. If I'm not saying that right, it's not my fault. It's basically the plot of Mass Effect Andromeda, except it's just humanity, and also, it looks much better than Mass Effect Andromeda because that's the bottom of the barrel. It's also Invasion of the Body Snatchers. There is an alien organism on board that can perfectly mimic crew members, so you don't know if that's Old Bill, because Old Bill might peel off his face and try to eat you. Tone-wise, it's kind of The Thing meets Alien, and allegedly Supermassive, though very cinematic choice-driven narrative formula, is apparently being expanded on some real-time stealth and survival elements being incorporated. I like that a lot. This one's coming on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series this year. And finally, at number 1, it's Resident Evil Requiem. At time of recording, I have been able to play a little bit of Resident Evil Requiem. Jake has beaten it multiple times. He has raved about it, and I think he has every reason to. What I have seen of the game is absolutely fantastic. If you're interested, in the 1% Club, part of the Falcon Show, we do playthroughs of really big game releases every month, and this month we're doing Resident Evil Requiem. I don't know exactly when we're recording that, but I assume it's probably soon, because we try to get this stuff moving. I intend to play at least a little bit more before we get into that, but I probably will not have played a whole lot of the game, honestly, by then, which is kind of crazy. I've wanted to play this game for such a long time, and I finally have access to it, and we're just like trying to crank out a bunch of work. Again, though, what I have played, I've enjoyed. The first stretch is a little cutscene heavy, let me tell you, but it's also not a complaint. I don't know, I'm just so psyched this game is out. I don't think I need to say anything else about this. It's the biggest survival horror game of the year, period. It's got both styles of recent Resident Evil gameplay, and that's awesome. I like both styles. I'm excited that a single game contains both. Like, yes, 100% yes. It's out on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series right now. I do have a couple of bonus games for you as well. The first is Valor Mortis, sort of a grimdark medieval survival horror game with rotting villages, zombie nights, and a whole lot of oppressive atmosphere, let me tell you. Details are still emerging on this one, but it looks pretty sweet. I think it's definitely a nice little tone shift to do something medieval in horror. We don't get enough of that. And the last one I have for you is Cthulhu the Cosmic Abyss, obviously based on Lovecraftian stuff. I think you got pretty much everything you could want with a Cthulhu title. Ancient stuff, underwater stuff, slow burn dread. That's basically what this looks like to me. It's set in a near future where Earth's surface resources are depleted, so there's a bunch of deep sea mining, and of course that awakens Cthulhu-related horrors. This one's landing on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC April 16th. That's all I've got for you today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. Join the 1% Club down below. That gets you exclusive access to the Falcon Show every Saturday, which we have an absolute blast doing. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.